Someone right now is standing outside with a stargazing app open, wondering if anything is out there. It feels like a uniquely modern obsession. UFOs, aliens, signals from deep space. But long before telescopes, before science, before we had a word for extraterrestrial, ancient humans were already carving the sky into stone. They drew beings in strange helmets, glowing discs, figures descending from the heavens in fire. And that raises an uncomfortable question. Were they imagining gods or describing something they actually saw? This isn't a UFO conspiracy piece. It's a look at why so many ancient cultures, separated by oceans and centuries, kept telling the same basic story about beings arriving from the sky, and what that pattern might actually reveal about us. Across the world, ancient cultures left behind strikingly similar imagery. In Egypt, gods arrived from the sky in boats of fire. In Sumer, the Anunnaki, beings who came down from the heavens to rule and to teach. In Hindu texts, the Vimanas, flying chariots, glowing and loud, capable of crossing the sky in an instant. These civilizations had no contact with each other, different continents, different languages, no shared trade routes, and yet the same core idea keeps surfacing. Something came from above, and it changed everything. What makes these stories harder to dismiss as vague myth is how specific some of the descriptions are. Ezekiel in the Bible describes a wheel within a wheel, covered in eyes, descending in fire and smoke. At Abydos in Egypt, carvings contain shapes that, out of context, look almost mechanical. Most archaeologists argue this is simply overlapping hieroglyphs recarved over centuries. Still, one detail repeats across unrelated cultures: sky beings who taught humans writing, agriculture, and law. That pattern alone is worth sitting with, regardless of how you interpret it. In Nazca, Peru, massive geometric lines and animal figures are carved into the desert floor, so large they can only be fully appreciated from the air. Some researchers proposed they were landing markers. Most archaeologists today point to ritual walking paths tied to water and astronomy, but the fact remains strange on its own. A civilization without flight built something only fully readable from the sky. Whatever the explanation, that's not nothing. So why does this pattern keep repeating? Science and anthropology offer grounded explanations. Early humans had no concept of distant stars, comets, or meteor events as natural phenomena. Anything genuinely unexplainable in the sky got folded into the only vocabulary available: religious language. Psychologists point to pattern recognition bias. Our brains are wired to find order and intention, even in random data, which is why old carvings can look mechanical to modern eyes trained on machinery. But none of these explanations fully answer the harder question. Why do isolated cultures, separated by oceans and centuries, keep arriving at the same core story: sky beings, fire, descent, teaching, departure? If it's coincidence, it's a remarkably consistent one. If it's shared human psychology, it suggests something deeper about how we process the unknown. And if even a fraction of it points to something real, we are still asking the exact same question our ancestors carved into stone thousands of years ago. They called it divine, we call it unidentified. Different words, same trembling hand pointing upward. Maybe the real question isn't whether ancient humans saw gods or aliens. Maybe it's simpler. When something truly beyond our understanding appears in the sky, what do we even call it? Strip away the language and the century, and ancient people were doing exactly what we still do: looking up and asking if we're alone. The myths changed, the instinct didn't. So the next time you look up at the night sky and wonder what's out there, remember, someone carved that same question into stone long before recorded history began. The real divide was never gods versus aliens. It's whether we'll ever get an answer they didn't.